What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Let's Argue About It. Everybody has seen on Instagram, people are making clothes, having their own brands, but nobody really has a why. Today, I sit down with Jug Heads, and they explain to me why their brand is something that you live in and not just something that you buy. So, Anna, Jug Heads, who are you? What is that? Talk to me. Tell the people what you are, what you do.
Okay. For sure. So, I'm Anna, right? So Juggheadz, right? I'm obviously one of the co-founders. It started in 2020, and it's basically about juggling life. It's the fact that we juggle obstacles on a daily basis. Sometimes that feel like it's stopping us from reaching our full potential.
Okay.
So as a brand, we want to motivate people despite how many obstacles that you face in your life to keep chasing your dreams, no matter what.
Okay.
And I met bro in 2020. You feel me? Like, man, I'm gonna let him get into that. I don't want to spill his beans, but
nah, go ahead, talk to me. Tommy, right? Tommy, fellow member of the greatest fat on earth. You know what I'm saying? Tommy, you know what I mean? So talk to us. Tell us a little bit about it.
All right, so born in Chicago, we met in 2018.
For sure.
No,
really, a little bit before that, for sure.
We established
but
business in 2020. We met in 2014, 2015, man, in high school. And pertaining to Juggheads, it's the will of a dedicated individual, somebody that's motivated in pursuing eternal success despite how many things they juggle in life. Yeah. So in 2020, as we realized COVID was going on, talking about the hustle, realizing that we need a new avenue of income, you know what I'm saying? Around that time, a lot of people were trying to stay focused on the grind.
For sure.
We established the brand with the mentality of just staying on the hustle, staying focused on the grind despite how many things we juggle in life. So yeah, man.
For sure. Like, I was laid off my job, and you feel like during COVID, you had to like really realize that we living in a world where you don't have some outside of just like working for a job. Like a job can close the day, and like that was my situation. So it's like we was in the energy, like we always like this my boy. We hung out every day for real. And it's like, all right, bro, this going on in the world. Like, what we gonna do? What's next?
Yeah,
and that's who we are.
That's who you are.
Man.
Okay.
That's who we are for real. Staying focused on the grind.
Yeah, my partner used to say that COVID was two things. For some people, it was a pandemic, but the other people, it was a bandemic. You feel me? So it was just like, what did you do? Did you rise to the occasion? Even for me, like, my business started during COVID. Like, I was the same way. I was sitting at home like, dang, fresh newborn. I was playing Call of Duty, thinking I was gonna be a Twitch person. I'm gonna lie to you, boy. I thought the wave was twitching and doing all that. And I was like, nah. Yeah, I was tapping in real early before it was a thing. And I was like, man, this ain't really, back when they were really playing video games when you watch Twitch, not just in real life streaming.
Literally,
So,
you hopping on the game.
Yeah, like I was really on the game, 2K, Duty. So, but like you guys mentioned, like you had to sit there, you had to think like, okay, well, what's next? Because your job could end now, and all these people who are still sustaining, they had their own businesses, they had their own cash flows, they had things that people still needed. And that's kind of how I got into transportation. So it's good to see that not only here in Houston when I was living, but everywhere around the world, some people had the same mindset of like, hey, like we got to make this an opportunity.
Got to get to
man,
it.
for
You
sure.
know what I mean?
Gotta get to it.
So that's fire, man. So what kind of, you guys are all from Chicago, I would imagine, right?
All from Chicago.
All from Chicago. So
he got to connect this story, man.
okay. Yeah, talk to us, Smooth. Yeah, you quiet over there. Talk to him, man.
Nah, I'll be, they, what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I met bro in high school also, him and her already had a connection by the time, I ended up linking back with bro in Houston. Out here, bro was already starting his brand and everything, I ended up starting a little clothing brand and everything. But bro, being on the side of me, he pushed me and, he already had something established. So he helped me also, so I had a little leap into everything. And then, we just decided that I just come a portion of them, So
Teamwork make the dream work.
Yeah.
Community.
That's what we do.
You know
so
what
we
I mean?
gonna
Y'all
push
built a
each other.
community.
He pushed at me, so I'm gonna do whatever to push them, the same way.
Okay.
Yep.
So let's talk about, before we even get to the Houston, right? Let's talk about what y'all do in Chicago, right? I know me and you kind of have off-camera conversation about what you do for your city and how you, I don't know how y'all grew up, but I assume that there's a lot of places in Chicago that y'all want to impact and touch. So what is it that Juggheadz and what you want Juggheadz to mean for your city, or what you guys got going on out there?
That's a great question.
Yeah, so just to like going to that, like overall, like when we created the brand, it wasn't just like, all right, we gonna throw something on the logo and throw something on a t-shirt and be like, it's a clothing brand. We wanted to have a value and meaning, right? And with us, going to the same high school, that's what we, like met at. So like being like that, being the first vision of like, how do we get back to, you know, like what gave to us, and not even just that, like, you know, what didn't get us, because like at the same time, like it's a lot of different, you know, like you got to go to school, right? That's what they tell you, right? You got to go, you got to go through pre-K, you got to go through all the different grades, you got to go to high school, right? So like with the realization of that, and you know where we was at, you know, like in our life once we graduated high school, you know, the decisions we made, like the decisions you make, you feel me, in high school really affect your life. Like life after high school, you know, like that's a whole different. And us like having that realization is like, you know, like what are we doing right now in our life to overcome our obstacles, right? So it's like, how do we show people, you feel me, like to continue to overcome their obstacles, and you know, like no matter what, because like from when we born, we already got a lot of obstacles that we gotta overcome.
Come on
just
now.
being black,
Yeah.
and then you know, like y'all being males, like you already facing a lot of oppression, right? So it's just like understanding that community, right? And like the deeper feel, like I got around him, and then just like other people around, it's like community. We gotta push each other, and that's the whole like first thing.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to the brand overall, right? So in the schools, like I went back to our old high school, and like for the last like 6 years, I've been a person I wanted somebody to be for me, like growing up. So that included like working for nonprofit organizations, doing a lot of youth organizing work. Man, spending like sleepless nights for field trips, creating T-shirts and shirts to make sure kids got them for field trips. Running summer programs, pushing restorative justice, right? And that's like what I'm rooted in for real. And that's why like when it comes to the brand, like we standing on the principle of like being restorative, right? And that's just basically like restorative justice is basically about building relationships, right? We got this thing, like the more I know you, the less likely I am to harm you. Our ancestors met in circle. Like when it came to like figuring out problems, issues, like coming together, they played like L's music, dance, all that, but also every issue like came together. They came together as a community because at the end of the day, like issues are like it's supposed to be handled as a community.
Yeah.
Like it's not up to us to deal with every last single problem that we got.
Yeah.
And until we realize that humans thrive off human connection, you feel me? Like, and the realization is that like, all right, we got to create a community that is, you know, like helping see the world, like helping people see the world from the perspective that, you know, because like we all not hand fed, like we come from different households, and that's real. And being in the school and education system, like just seeing that, right? And then just our experience, like knowing like his background and stuff like that, we come from different places, right? And it's already 10 times harder for us. So why make it harder for each other when we all facing the same exact obstacles, right? So just doing that and wanting to like be like literally like it just being the definition of like what it means to be a Jug Heads in front of the kids every day, like getting up, you feel me, every day. And even if I'm mad, whatever my feelings is, like I'm checking my feelings at the door to still get to the school and do what needs to happen, because at the end of the day, like it ain't about what the obstacles is current, like where you going, like how you get through the obstacles,
not how you start, how you
from
finish. Yeah, okay.
Exactly. So like just really that, and like just really, you know, like understanding that like the youth is the future, and if we not pouring into the youth, like
facts,
we doing ourselves a disservice.
Nah, that's facts. That's facts. The youth is the future. So you know, you're in education. I mean, obviously you still do your clothing. What about you? What about you, young gentlemen? What do you got going on?
Financial industry.
Okay.
Entrepreneurship. So pertaining to the grind, the business, I always had a hustle mentality. I always thought about generational wealth, financial literacy.
Okay.
Pertaining to where I come from, I don't want to say I was born into generational wealth, so I always had the mindset to overcome that. So pertaining to having these conversations in the past, and we eventually established a business with each other, we noticed that we want to take it to a bigger level. So what do I do pertaining to, you know, just Chicago? Nothing specifically. Got a lot of family back home, but I left Chicago when I was 18, went to college, graduated with a finance degree. I went into insurance, been in insurance for a few years. Currently still a licensed insurance agent for over 45 states. I'm not contracted to a company right now, but been locked in on the grind pertaining to the brand.
Okay.
So she was touching bases pertaining to her character and what she see as her, you know, future missions is for Chicago.
Yeah.
Pertaining to me studying finance, man, I'm understanding so much about financial literacy that futuristically I want to implement that within a brand to teach people about financial
Oh,
literacy.
okay.
So
Maybe
teaching
like a program that gives back. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So if y'all in Chicago, a boy, you know, y'all see this, councilmen, whatever, they want to teach financial literacy, right? So, you know, not a lot of people want to do that to give back to the community, bro. So, you know, that's real stand up, and I hope you continue to push that forward while you're doing this brand, because the community needs that, right? Financial literacy is something, entrepreneurship is something that it's not always taught, right? Even us at Cool Dad, we work in Color Middle School. You know, we're implanted in there to try to instill, you know, not just emotional intelligence, but different skill sets of like, hey, you can make a way and still work a 9 to 5, or if you want to work a 9 to 5, there's still ways to do it, right? Here's how you can climb a ladder, right? Because there's nothing wrong with working 9 to 5, right? We all know that, but there's also a way to do it to where it's effective and not just mentally draining on you. Right? So I appreciate you. I appreciate you for doing that. Smooth. What about you, brother?
Basically, after high school, I ended up going off to the Navy. Reservist. So I recently just
thank you for your service. I'm proud reservist too. I just got out. You know, I'm Army though. You know, so I ain't gonna hold it against you. You know,
it's okay,
hold it against you, brother.
Yeah,
but it's cool.
Gotta lean on one another, but yeah, I just after high school, I went off to the Navy. I recently just got out the military.
Okay.
But yeah, like, ain't nothing wrong with working a 9 to 5, especially if you got a good career, you know, choice and stuff like that, you know. So you got a good income, for sure. So
absolutely.
Yeah. And also, you know, I got a son now. You know,
hey, well, hey, you a cool dad, brother. Make sure you get you some merch before you get out of here.
So
bro.
when you say that cool dad, that's why I was like,
yeah,
you gotta
come on now.
Stand on your responsibilities for sure. And you know, even though you do work a job, make sure you always follow your dream also on the side. You can always find time for, you know, things that you really want to do on the side. And actually your current living situation, everything that you stacking up and everything, could fund that, for sure. So definitely chase your goals and everything.
Now I can kind of see how y'all all mesh, right? Because it's like y'all are Jughead, but y'all all got a role. You know what I mean? Like the financial part of it, the savviness of understanding that you can take a situation and turn it around with the right financial situation, and then just the education piece on bringing it together as a community, right? Because you guys didn't just do this on y'all own, y'all did it as a collective. You know what I mean? So it's really admirable that y'all are doing this, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm probably to y'all because I'm 33, but y'all doing this at a young age, you know what I mean? Like, y'all talk about the future, like y'all are the future that me and my constituents are trying to push for. You get what I mean?
That's
so,
right,
you know, I appreciate that just first and foremost before we get too deep in this interview, all right?
Let's do it.
So, you know, I see you got the 2 logos right here. So tell me a little bit about the logo design. What prompted y'all to use that? You know, it's very unique. So, you know, talk to me, Anna.
Yeah, for sure. So I was just like get into that for real. So like when we first started or whatever, I want to say like we started in 2020, but in like 2018, I had already I already had a vision of like starting a clothing brand, right? And I had like trash stuff and I go around and I'm like, man, you know, I want to be able to do this with a team, right? So like I put it on standstill. We got you feel me? Like we got the 2020, like we started getting closer. He also, you feel me? Like he around like-minded individuals. Like we said, it was around code. We steady coming back and forth together. Like I'm
Just
like,
chilling.
You
We was just chilling, literally just having conversations.
Literally. So like, you know, we come to the table, we got together. I'm like, all right, bro, like we should start a clothing brand, right? So we literally sat in the basement that night, and I ain't gonna lie, like we probably didn't leave till we came up with the idea. And the crazy part about it is, I already had a graphic designer because, like I said, in 2018, I was already ready. So like, you feel me? Like the energy of like, let's do it was like, all right, let's do it for real. So like, we started like literally 30 shirts a piece. We picked out that baby. I'm gonna let them like, you feel me, go into the breakdown of it or whatever. Cause like when we first, you feel me, picked it, it definitely like it was the look, character, but also like it, you know, it was deep, and I'm just gonna let them touch into like, you know, like the details of like, you know, like why we chose the baby and like what's the whole breakdown of it.
For sure.
If you want to just like
get a quick little view of
show
it
the
again,
view of it
man.
too.
So pertaining to that situation that day, we was literally just talking. So when she put the graphic design on the table, we was also thinking about the name. Like what's unique in Chicago that's not being used. So we always talking about Jug, and the conversation was nothing about Jug and hustling. Like how we for to get another Jug, what's the next Jug? So how's we gonna use the word Jug? Because ain't no clothing brand in Chicago that's using the word Jug. One of my boys up on the graphic designer page or whatnot, so we all just scrolling. Bingo. Everybody could, agreed on the logo. So it hit home. It hit home not a little later, not at that moment. But as we started to realize literally in business pertaining to just that discipline and understanding how we need to grow. Like come back with the 30 shirts, let's flip the 30 shirts. Now we start thinking about financial structure, legal structure in business. The meaning of what we was doing was just starting to come about. So not me, but somebody said, and we get this all the time individually. People be thinking it's us on the logo. So, but somebody personally for me was like, "You're a king, man. Like it's a lot that you juggling in life right now. So, like, take this brand, what you're doing, and feed it. Like, take it serious." So as I looked at the logo and I looked at the concept, I'm like, man, it's a baby in a king chair. Ever since I was a kid, I couldn't even imagine how many things I had to juggle as of now. So pertaining to that logo, it hit home. I'm a king at the end of the day. I'm gonna stand 10 toes down on my grind and my mentality because I understand that ever since a kid, I didn't expect to go through what I'm going through now. But I'm gonna figure it out though. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And motivate and inspire people around me to have the same mentality. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like the overview of the first concept of that logo.
And then, like, I think overall, it's just, like, the obstacles, just to bring it back, the obstacles you got to go through, like, just, you feel me, like, from a child to adulthood. Like, you go through a lot of different obstacles, and, like, life is about learning lessons, right?
Man, because I didn't think I was going to be paying bills and
you see what I'm saying? Exactly. So it's like, and that's the whole, like, because it's obstacles you got to overcome. But if you don't got the mindset to overcome them obstacles, like, that's why,
sink or swim. I get it.
What?
So like you make an interesting point over there, Tommy. You talk about, inspiring and motivation. So I'm gonna ask y'all, like, who inspired y'all? Right? Like, did y'all have inspiration when we talk about that, right? I don't mean just like, inspired, but like when you sat down during that COVID time and you guys was around, did you guys have mentors or people like that y'all look to like, hey, get some guidance? Or y'all just straight up out, we just came up with it and we just figured it out on our own? Or, talk about that. Because, I think it's important to know, like, sometimes people get there on their own, but sometimes people do get there with a little bit of help.
Yeah,
and, how much, and if you didn't get that help, how much further along do you think you might be if you did get it, right?
I'm not gonna sit right here and say I didn't have good energy around me growing up. I was in a Christian home growing up. You know what I'm saying? I lost my parents at a young age. So pertaining to just having a righteous mindset, do good, be great was something that was always implemented within my household.
Okay.
I wandered off myself, you know what I'm saying, trying to, tap into the streets or whatnot, but it was always motivation around to be great, pertaining to my brothers, friends, and everything, man. But to specifically speak on, like, where does it come from, who inspired me, there's so many sources right now, man. There's so many sources. And I'm only seeking the positive sources that's motivating me right now. I ain't got time for no
negativity.
No
negativity.
negativity.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm receptive to all inspiration from positive sources. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. What about you, Anna?
So like overall, like, man, for me, it's a lot. I ain't gonna lie to you, but to like just break it down for real, like it was the grind that was motivating me for real.
Okay.
Like and then like I said, like
I love the hustle.
I had a different drive, just like being in my old high school, like the whole reason, and like like you said, like we both got degrees. Like I got a degree in communication and human services, right? But like in high school, I fell in love with like just community organizing work, and like that became the surface. So I think I ain't gonna lie, like just a lot of that having mentors that like push me to like be able to chase my wildest dream. Like my first event that I came up with was called like something called a Peace Summit. And life after high school for me, like, so just being in Chicago, right? Chicago really political. I don't know if y'all familiar with like the Obama Library being built in Chicago, right? That's being built across our old whole high school, High Park Academy, which like High Park Academy built a lot of goats. Like I ain't gonna lie, y'all probably heard of G Herbo, King Louis, a bunch of it's
rappers,
even man, we even got writers and a whole bunch of poets and like for real that come from High Park for real, right? So me being in high school, And when they was coming in my school telling us like how they weren't gonna tear our football field down and like stuff that was essential to like our neighborhood, and like me watching my friends have to move out of neighborhoods and stuff like that because they couldn't afford to live there no more, right? Because the area being gentrified, and I'm pretty sure it's the same with Houston, like areas being gentrified, and you know, it's not a coincidence on why like that happened, right? So like being inspired like by all that stuff was happening on and having the power in the organization to start doing a lot of this stuff with the youth, right? Like being like literally like being able to like help violence like decrease, pushing for peace rooms, restorative justice, and like more programs. Because what you see in our school is like lack of investment. Like people,
that's
like,
why we in them
they'll
now.
be like let's invest in policing, but why are we like why are people, you know, like what are the basic needs that humans got, right? Humans got 3 basic human needs, and that's literally housing, food, water. Like, and it's like without that, it's chaos, right? And we in a world where there's a lot of segregation that still exists in real time, and it's happening in ways that our people not really seeing. So like being able to get the experience, like going through that organization and like learning all that stuff, I'm like, man, I got to go teach everybody. So like being able to go back to my old high school, doing that with the youth, and then like it got to the point where I didn't pull him into like, I'm like, you got to come to the circle with me. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I took my first RJ training and I was ready. I'm like, okay. Because, like, circles is, like, real healing. Like, sometimes we don't realize the oppression that we under. So, like, once I realized I was an oppressed person, and, you know, like, I had the power to change. Like, I definitely had the power to change my situation. Because I'm not accepting, literally, like, I'm like, okay, it's knowledge that we have to learn. Like, sometimes we're not reading into our history and understanding why the world works. So I'm like, I got to tap
you for sure got an education background, because I could tell. I could tell you. So here's my question, like, you know, this is just an off-brand, ain't got to go too deep, but are you teaching your students this?
Yeah,
or like,
so,
you know, while you in there, like, I know you guys have a set curriculum, but are you giving them everything you can give them?
Like, I didn't, man, I get in trouble sometimes for going too far. I ain't gonna lie, because, like, when it comes to, and then that's the thing, like, that's what helped me connect in my old high school, being able to go back, and I saw the same struggles that they shared. I know some of their siblings, like, I'm the person that probably knows some of their favorite rappers because we friends or whatever the case it is. Like, I'm the person that's, you know, willing, like, man, y'all probably done seen I brought Mellow Bucks to Hyde Park and it went viral.
Damn.
And, you know, people took it in a negative connotation, but what they did go make viral is, you feel me, her coming doing a positive speech, like, you know, telling kids to, you feel me, like, stay out of trouble and just talking about her obstacles and journey she had.
The people that these kids look up to them. So they look up to them.
Because at the end of the day, it's our culture, right? And it's just like, music don't, you know, literally deflect how you gonna act, right? At the end of the day, like, self is self.
Self is self.
And then at the end of the day, you know, like, that's one, like, and then we in a school where they got phone lockers, and this the only, like, you barely getting to have fun and experience, like, literally. So it's just like,
everything's so tight knit. Like,
exactly,
it's more like
everybody, you know,
controlled. I ain't gonna say controlled jail cell, but in a way, it's more
school
like
to prison pipeline, because that's exactly what
there you go.
Some of these schools is. Like, if you go, and that's most public schools.
Yeah.
Literally.
Especially ones that are underfunded. So
literally, and then it's like funding become a whole problem, and we ready to throw kids away because we can't get the support, because kids are in school more than they with their parents. So why we don't got the resources?
Come on now.
But we could fund jails.
Come on now.
To make money off people.
Look, that's another conversation for another day.
Look.
We'll be here all day. I can see me. He's gonna go into it all day. We're gonna get into it. So I see you got some curated pieces right here, right? So you guys are in Houston right now. You're right. You guys got a pop-up shop tomorrow. Tell me, you know, show me a little bit about what y'all got, man. Show me what you got, man.
Man, you want to pick up one of the hottest people? Because we got a pop-up shop March 21st, happening at Green Venture Streetwear store. And there's actually some of the pieces that's going to be available there. Okay. And then we got a special guest popping out, Cowboy.
Okay.
So
okay.
It's going to be a great event.
So how did you guys get that? How did you guys manage the Cowboy connection to Jug Heads? Is it something he saw and was like, bro, I got to be on this? Or like, how does that connection?
Something similar to you, bro. Finding a connection within the movement. You know what I'm saying? Just nothing too crazy. Just a genuine connection to the brand. You know what I'm saying? So pertaining to the new concepts and whatnot, it's all about the evolution of fashion and just I mean, we understand that we gonna hustle, want to flip some shirts. That was the basic mindset starting off in the brand. But honestly, talking about conversion rates, as a successful brand, like actually being able to evolve and grow, we got to be able to understand what the market like, either pertaining to material, concepts that's fire right now. So being able to stay tapped into the wave. Truthfully speaking, a lot of the fashion that's down here in Houston, we from Chicago, man. We ain't really been tapped
Talk
into
about
the
it. Look, hold on.
See what I'm saying? It took a while to throw these on. What you mean?
Yeah,
Like they
what
first,
you-
like, what you mean? Put these big old pants on?
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
I had to grow into it.
Yeah,
too.
to grow into it. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Man.
My partner, he a fashion dude too, and he like, hey, bro, you gotta get these pants. I'd be like,
They be like, try that.
I can't pull that off, right? It's all about
For
the look,
real,
right?
man.
So, okay, so you talk about conversions, right? You got the pants right here. So what the pants, this like so this is all the merch that's gonna be.
And then actually, these
know,
you right here.
Oh, these me?
These
Oh,
you right here. So like, you saw the fans, they actually you right here. I ain't gonna let you.
Yeah, y'all see that? Hey, I'm official Jug Head. Y'all feel me? Oh yeah, I need that. Oh yeah, we finna. Yeah, my fiance gonna be like, you think you a YN, huh? Yeah, it's okay though. It's okay.
You gotta put it with some cool
Yeah,
heads. For sure.
you know,
gotta,
some cool stuff.
Nah,
One
for
of
real.
y'all might have to style me. You know what I mean?
Hey, look,
I might have to send y'all a
whatever
picture
you need.
first.
And that,
before-
look,
You know,
Look,
we
I
got
might
you,
need
my
y'all to
dog.
send me a picture like how I should wear these because I don't want to mess it up. You know?
and trust
'Cause when
me,
I get
it's
on the
gonna be
gram,
all
I
type
want
of
to look
content that's
crazy.
gonna show you how to wear some of
Okay,
these pieces too.
bet. Okay, so you guys are doing that, right? We talked about kind of like, you know, I ain't gonna lie to you, I love hearing y'all speak only because of the simple fact that, right, I'm a very upfront person.
Okay.
Right? And I'm gonna keep it real with you. I seen Juggheadz and I didn't know what to expect. I'm 100%. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, y'all really blew me away. I ain't gonna lie to you. No cap. You know, you never was supposed to judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? But I definitely man, I don't know what to expect, but the way y'all articulate, the way y'all sit here and y'all talk about the way y'all do a community, right? That kind of shit, and excuse my language, y'all, but that kind of stuff, right? Because it gets me excited, bro. It gets me excited, bro. It gets me excited to be able to see like young people understanding the concept. Like you guys are, like you mentioned, you started off with we kind of want to hustle t-shirts, but boy mentioned conversions. You mentioned like how we in schools with this, right? Like this is a school message, right? Bro, talk about you don't gotta have a certain situation, and then if you put the right people around you, you can evolve your situation. You feel what I'm saying? So like, what y'all three have going on, and the rest of your foundation of Juggheadz, right? Y'all are building something that is gonna take waves. So my next question for you is, what do you see? What's the future for Juggheadz, right? What's the future for y'all in terms of right now? I understand it's fashion, but what's next, right? If there is a next, if it's only gonna be fashion for 100%. We'll keep it that way, but what is next for Jughead, right? What do you want to see this go on a national, even global level?
That's the answer right there.
Yeah, I feel.
Okay.
We gotta go global, dog. We
Yeah.
gotta go national, man.
Nah, that definitely
That's
is
the footwork
answer.
right here.
Big.
My bad, I ain't want to
Yeah,
interrupt.
nah, but that definitely is the answer. Like, that's definitely the biggest piece of it, right? Because, like, like, it's not just a clothing brand. Like, it's a brand, right? And being like, it's a brand that is getting ready to expand into a bunch of different stuff. Like, definitely podcasts. Outside of that, like, continuing to, like, this, like, we trying to start our own youth programming, right? So that's our really next step, like, working on youth programming. I'm an artist.
And stuff.
So like being able to create spaces where like people can actually learn and be a part of the community. And that's what actually like this pop-up shop, right? This first experience. That's the whole point of, really like doing this pop-up shop. It's not just to sell clothes, because that's not, we're not just trying to sell people like product, right? Yeah. It's about creating community or whatever. So like we looking to build community with folks to also, we feel like help them take next to them, because this stuff we can learn from each other. So like we trying to create a community and grow for real. Like that, the next step is continuing. Like we hoping to replicate this pop-up shop as many times as we can in different states, bringing different artists.
First one, right? In Houston.
Yep, first one.
Why y'all choose Houston?
Man, momentum.
I'm from California, so I feel like California would have been a great play. But why you choose Houston?
I moved out here to Houston, man.
Oh, you live in Houston?
I live in Houston.
Okay.
Yeah, so I left Chicago 2018. We started the brand in 2020. I was in college. Anna was in Chicago. So she was navigating in Chicago. I was navigating in Mississippi. I moved out of Mississippi, came to Houston.
Okay.
We got to still work. Still got to grind the business. Still got to, you know what I'm saying?
You live in Houston too?
My brother was in
I
bro
don't
was in
live here
Houston.
no more, but I was living out here. We love Houston, man. Houston got a lot of opportunities. Meet a bunch of people, man.
What?
Man.
You know, when they say you get out your home city, you know, you meet more people.
Bro, I'm trying to tell you. So I'm from California, so I understand what you guys are saying when it comes from you can create your own wave in another city, right? And I'm also a big advocate for if you can't make money in your own city, there's a million more cities out there. You know what I mean?
Man.
So
show more love sometimes.
You don't gotta necessarily be
It's
in
a
your
different
city.
hospitality
Yeah,
here.
come on now. You don't gotta be in your city to make money. So I definitely understand what Smooth's saying. Like, you know, opportunity is out here. So here's what, you know, and I talked about this on my last podcast with my last guy, just about like, do you guys get a lot of support from your city? And that's just being real. Like, you know, if you do, you do. But if you don't, but, you know, if not, why do you think that it's not necessarily received as well in your own city, but for some reason it's coming out of
it's
other
definitely, for sure.
It's either right, family. Is you talking about family or is you talking about
city,
people that actually want to see
city, your family, your friends, community,
and stuff like that? Like, she got them type of connections out there. You know, I'm not out there. You know, I left Houston when I was in high school. So after high school, I left Chicago. You know, and I really haven't lived back there.
Yeah. Okay.
But she still tapped into Chicago.
So
sure.
So what do you think? Do you think a lot of people are hesitant to kind of like when it first started?
I can speak to it.
Yeah, I feel like honestly, like I'm gonna let bro tap in this too, but like I honestly feel like it's a little mixed. But to be honest with you, like this Houston traction and everything that we've been doing for real, like sometimes people like the support gonna come along the way of your grind. Like everybody not gonna support you when you first start. And, you know, like, that's truthfully. But, like, us, you know, like, understanding what it's about, like, you know, like, you feel like, I used to be stuck in that mindset where I cared about if my city supported me or not, right? But, like, I'm at a point where, I ain't gonna lie, I'm not really thinking about, you know, like, if the city support me or not, because at the end of the day, like, the people feel like the real gonna follow with the message and brand behind it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because, like, our target market is people with that mindset, man. So if you got that mindset, you automatically gonna fall in line. So it's like, the traction starting to happen, the deeper and deeper we getting, like, the get merch to Ghana, the get merch to her, like, all that stuff, like, it happened down the line, like, everybody don't support you right off back for sure, but at the end of the day, you know, like, you feeling like they gonna come along?
No, the city show love.
They gonna come along?
They show love.
It's kind of pertaining to what you just asked us, bro, man. When I seen Juggheadz, I ain't know what was pertaining to the city, bro. The city know what Juggheadz is, man. They know what Jug is. But it also goes to conversions. Like, why should they mess with us? So we're learning, is it the fashion? Is it our message? Are we teaching people what the brand actually means?
Do people understand why?
Do it look good? Are we fashionable people?
Yeah.
We want to succeed in every way. So we are focused on going through the obstacles to figure it out.
Okay.
Life might not, it might not be green on the other side. Grass might not be green on the other side pertaining to, is the city fucking with us? Because, excuse my language. Because they truthfully might know, like, I don't even know but we working and grinding on all of this exposure. So that's investing into ads or more events, more pop-up shops, just making sure things are flowing consistently. So for business to evolve, man, we got to make sure we got a lot of like-minded individuals to understand that people might not mess with us, but we got to figure out what we need to do so they can mess with us.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
For sure.
That's a fact. All right, Juggheadz, right? All y'all. So this is the part, you know, that I love the most, right? The debating, the let's argue about it. I'm gonna give each one of y'all a question because it's 3 of y'all. You know, it's gonna be the first time I did 3 questions on a podcast. So y'all should feel like y'all are breaking history right now, right? So when this become one of the $1 million podcasts, just know they were the first to have 3 people on this month.
Let's do it, man.
I mean? So yeah. So the first question is gonna go to Anna. All right, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
So, do you think a brand's why matters in terms of its success?
To be honest, that's the most important thing.
Okay.
And what's crazy is you just asked that question, and one of my mentors, Marlon Watts, gave me the book Start With Why. And to be honest, that book has been like life changing to me right now, because like that's the biggest point. If you don't know your why and your brand, why you can't be doing it, because like the purpose is the biggest thing. Like if you don't know why, you ain't got nothing that's gonna hold you to it.
Yeah.
None of that. So like definitely 100%. Like you gotta know why.
Okay. Well, we're gonna see what the people say. All right. So Tommy, this one's for you, man, and this is just coming from the finance mindset. You ready? So, does exclusivity matter, or does accessibility matter more?
I believe it's pertaining to the market that you in, and the type of, the vision that you want, or the, what I want to say, solutions, or like what you see your end goal is. So pertaining to that, like me, honestly, if I have, for example, 1,000 products with a cheaper price, still good quality, I may get more conversions over here. You know what I'm saying? But there might be a market that likes that exclusive stuff. So it's all about which mindset I'm tapping into, dog. So it's a balance to it. I don't really know which one, but I'm a mass producer, though.
So Smooth, man, this one's for you, man, because I feel like you got some structure to you, especially with coming from the Navy. So you ready for your question?
Yeah.
All right. So is creativity the most important, or is it the fact that you have to have business discipline?
Definitely, you gotta, you know, you gotta be creative and gotta have discipline. You know, discipline because we don't want to go back to where we came from. Like my parents had me young, so mine was a little rough upbringing for me. But I figured it out. So I definitely gotta have discipline because I don't want to go back to the point that I have to need somebody. Especially when I got somebody that need me currently.
Yeah.
And you gotta have, creativity too, because when you talk fashion, like I be seeing a lot of people with different fashion out here. In the print shop the other day, I was up in there. You run into all type of people in there with handmade pieces. They be sewing, stitching, and putting tags hanging down and doing this and that. And you just gotta keep up. You gotta keep up. You gotta keep going. If you really want to do clothes, you definitely got to be creative because people want to spend their money, and we can't charge no penny for what we making, especially if we really putting work into it. So if they want to spend all their money, they want to spend it on something that's creative. So you got to be creative out here.
All right, boom. Hey, I got a bonus question. This one really I gotta ask it now because he kind of brought it to my attention. So. We're gonna draw a stick. Who wanna answer it? Because I'm not gonna. It's really on the spot right now. So
All right, come on,
who wanna answer it?
Just throw it out there.
You gonna answer it?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, Anna, this for you. So it's really a one part, but we're gonna make it a two part. So your question is, Anna, who got the better fashion, Houston or Chicago?
Oh my God, man, that is crazy. You gonna put me in that?
Come on.
You gonna put me in that position
hey,
and say that,
I
bro?
got it. Come on.
You know Chicago.
Come
I ain't gonna lie, we got our own drip, bro. Like I ain't gonna lie, like I feel like we ain't got no, we ain't got no comparison. I ain't gonna lie, we definitely set trends. I ain't gonna lie.
For real.
We set trends, bro.
You said trend?
I ain't
So
gonna lie.
Chicago?
I ain't gonna
Okay,
lie.
I bet.
I gotta
Chicago.
go.
You know
we gotta
hometown,
do the city,
man.
right?
I gotta go
Okay.
home.
Boom. I'm gonna give you that one. Hey, young Tommy, man. I got a question for you, man. So, top 3 cities in the U.S. with the best fashion.
Top 3. I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna go LA. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say
From the
LA
Bay, but
because
we cool.
look,
I'll take it.
you know what I mean?
I love
You see what I say?
Hold on, get this
Oh,
too.
yeah. Of course, you knew he was gonna say no.
Get that
So
one.
we
You know
got,
we gotta
uh,
say that one in the inventory,
What
okay?
it say? Drafted by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Made in
Los
LA.
Angeles.
Yeah, I like this one.
So,
Yeah.
we gotta give props to those. We gotta give props to those areas that definitely got that drip. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna give a little props to LA. You
Okay.
know what I mean?
What about the other 2?
The other 2, I'm going with the hometown.
Chicago? Okay.
Yeah, man.
So then who number 3?
Number 3,
Yeah.
Houston.
Houston?
Houston.
Over New
I was
York?
gonna say New York. I was just for the
What's
New York.
crazy is because like y'all 3 kind of different, man. Like I ain't gonna lie, it's definitely LA, it's Atlanta, and it's New York.
Atlanta.
In New York.
See, I was
I'm
trying to be
sorry.
nice
It's
because
like,
we out
it
here in
feels like-
Houston. So
No, you
I
gotta
ain't
be
being
nice.
like, I ain't gonna from my move.
Hey, Houston
If
go-
we being real, it's
They
really
show
that.
love, man.
You better be
Like, it's
that.
you can show love all you want to. Y'all showing love by doing a
And
pop-up.
then I ain't gonna
so
lie, like
you
those
giving
the
them
3 cities,
some
like
new
you think
drip
about
anyway.
it, Chicago, all
Yeah.
of them, like I ain't gonna lie, like New York and Atlanta are cousins. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with my cousins.
Okay, all right. Yeah, we
That's
gonna see
real
what the
tough.
people
Yeah.
say when it's dropped, though. I ain't gonna lie to you. You might be mad. You know
Hey,
what I
I'ma
mean?
leave
Man,
You
look,
might not be able to go to camp no more after this. Nah, but so, I appreciate y'all for coming, right? Thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for popping up. Pop-up shop tomorrow. This probably won't drop tomorrow, but even still, when y'all do y'all next one, this will be in preparation for next one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for
Let's
sure.
do it, man.
And
Appreciate you, man.
We need y'all to.
Yeah, come on.
No, we finna. Collaboration.
Come on, whatever y'all want to do. Like I said, y'all got a movement that fits with us, right? And this is my shameless plug time, right? Because shout out to Cool Dad if you guys are looking for a partnership or looking to do any kind of, nonprofit opportunities, right? DM me, talk to me, holla at me. We're in the community in Houston, and we're trying to empower dads, father figures, aunts, uncles, whatever it is, right? And you wanted to tap into this youth, come holla at me, all right? But yeah, man, y'all got any shout outs y'all want to give before we get up off the air, anything like that?
Man, shout out to all the Jug Heads out there, man. Just continue to stay focused on the grind despite how many things y'all juggle, you feel me?
Hey, and I appreciate you, for real. Shout out to you for having us on the platform.
Shout out to Denver, you know what I mean?
Shout out to my boy.
Yeah,
shout out to my boy.
Calling right now.
Yeah, shout out to Denver, man, because he told me about y'all boys, man.
You want to know what's crazy? He working on the brand right now, dog.
Yeah.
Inventory they got to get finished. My boy working on the brand.
Yeah. So shout out to Denver, man, because I ain't gonna lie to you, I wouldn't know, y'all wouldn't be here if I didn't know him. So it really is, he got, and I respect that young man. He got a lot of hustle to it. So I make sure I continue to take good care of him because I really rock with him and what he got going on.
For sure.
Like I like what he got with the message and what he do, and just when we talk at the gym, when we be hooping, he can't hoop like me. So if you see this, man, you can't hoop for real. But it's cool though. You still my dog. But yeah,
that's my boy, man.
Yeah, facts. But yeah, man. So I appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all.
I got your number. You feel me? We
locked
in.
We'll exchange our information.
So I already know.
Welcome to another episode. We wrapped up session 11. Stay tuned.